welcome to another episode of We on the Laughs, where we sit there and talk about comedy with some of our favorite comics, talk about their lives, their comedy careers, and what just basically makes them funny. I'm your host, Tyson Paul, and tonight we have a very special guest. This guy is funny in a way that you cannot imagine. He's a winner of NBC's stand-up comedy competition. You've seen him on Kevin Hart's Heart of the City. You've also seen him on Netflix, The Comedy Lineup. He's originally born in the Philippines, but born and raised, well, actually not born, but raised in California. So let's give it up for the musical comedic stylings of Mr. JR De Guzman. What's going on, JR?
Yo, what's up, man? You can see me now, or am I just?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can
cool.
see. Just trying to live the dream, man. Just trying to live the dream like you, man. So
yeah,
I guess let's just get started, man. Like, tell me some stuff. But first of all, tell me, what's the funniest thing you've seen lately?
The funniest thing I've seen, like in person?
Yeah, like just throughout life.
Man, okay, I was just in Boston. Well, I guess in the pandemic, it's man, that's a tough one, dude. It's so sad right now.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
But
It's hard to see funny stuff right now. It's a
yeah.
pandemic. It's a wild election going on. Yeah, it's just
Well,
madness
I'll tell you what I've been up to. So I just came from Boston. I was visiting some family and doing some stuff out there. And I got to do I did the Boston Tea Party thing. The thing where you throw you go on this tour, they take you on a ship and you throw the tea into the river.
Yeah.
And then we pull the tea back in, so it's like not legit, but yeah.
He's like, so you remember like Boston Tea Party from the history books? I thought you were talking about like a comedy festival. Like, oh man,
No,
Boston Tea
yeah.
Party. That's a cool little outdoor festival and stuff. I was about to lie the whole way through, but since you explained it now, it's actually a lot better.
You're about to be like, yeah, dude, I know that festival. I love.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually booked to play there next year, so that's cool.
Yeah, sometimes I can be that guy at the party where I like act like I know what I'm talking about, but know nothing at all about what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
like, you guys seen the movie Boys Don't Cry? Man, love that movie.
It's the worst because I get caught in that stuff where like now I try to remember what I've already said. Like, like the whole rest of the night, like by the end of the night, I'm a whole character. It's like I've created a whole entire like improvised character who has kids, like a background story, origin story.
And don't have to go back and have to backtrack your story. Remember your story?
Yeah.
Because it's always that one dude at the end of the night. So you say you saw Boys Don't Cry, right, man? Like, so, like, what were your thoughts? Hey, man, look, like, really didn't say it. Just lied. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can
I look, man, I don't know why I lied to you, man. I just wanted to impress you.
Yeah. I don't even know why I wanted to impress you. I just did that. But, all right, so tell me some of your first memories of comedy in general. Not like just basically how you came to comedy.
Okay. Well, how did I come into comedy? Well, the way I first started watching it was Premium Blend on Comedy Central. Like after I would go home after school and then they would do like the half-hour show of like it was a compilation of all the comics like specials, which that would be a killer show right now. I don't know why no one's doing that anymore. Like that was really cool.
Well, I think they kind of do something like that with the comedy stand-up that they have on YouTube right now. Like the Comedy Central YouTube channel, they just basically post like different sets. And then
that's true.
The Laugh Factory.
Yeah, you wouldn't really watch it now on a TV show where it's like 30 minutes of that. No one really watches stand-up that way. You think?
I think you still would. I would, especially right now during the pandemic. During the pandemic, I think we'll watch anything. We watch Tiger King, so I know we'll watch anything.
I know. It doesn't have to be relevant. We just love it. It's so much content right now.
Yeah, so I think Premium Blend will work, but that's I know a lot of comics that really kind of like found their way into comedy
through that
because of Premium Blend, especially like when it was basically like nothing but killers on there. Like they had the Dan Crooks and the Amy Schumers and everybody else just kind of making their way up. And then like basically it was shot in LA, so basically it was just like everybody that was in LA at the time was doing Premium Blend. So
they could pick up all the best people. It was that, and I would also stay up to watch Conan. I remember Conan was another like comedic influence of just thinking like I like comedy stuff.
Yeah, no, I got on the Conan late. Like I knew about the Tonight Show, but
Yeah.
like my family, we were kind of like, I'm not saying we were broke, but we couldn't afford really good cable like that, so we only got one late night show.
Who'd you guys have?
We had the NBC one. We had I want to say Jay Leno.
Yeah,
We just
Jay
had
Leno.
Jay Leno. We didn't know about Conan. I didn't know about Conan until I got to like maybe like late high school and college. That's how I found out about Conan. And then I realized that Conan's a lot better than Jay Leno, so now I still watch.
It's just such a different because I think Leno started to become like the staple. But it was like the old school style by the time I started watching comedy stuff, and then or Leno, yeah, and then Conan is just like the weird sort of goofy kind of. It was like the opposite of what all the other late night hosts were doing. I didn't know that at the time. Like now I kind of understand that, but at the time I was just like, oh, dude, I want to stay up and see his monologue. And I didn't even know what that was like stand up technically, you know, I was just like, oh, he's just like being funny in the beginning. And then like the sketches were really hilarious. Yeah, it was great. And then I recently, speaking of Boston, I got to visit the Lampoon at Harvard. They have like have you heard of it?
Yeah. That's where basically like everything you ever wanted to know about National Lampoon, like
yes.
there.
Yeah, and it was like there's a few people that were a part of that club that eventually became like big in the comedy industry, and that's probably one of my like, you know, I feel stoked to just have been able to see it and go inside it and stuff.
Well, I know like none of the comedy clubs are probably open in Boston, but did you get to see like some of the famous ones, like the Boston Club?
No, I didn't. You know, I'm not actually that super familiar with all the clubs in Boston. I just know there's like the Comedy Studio, right?
Yeah.
That's one. What are the other ones?
I want to say there's, cause I think I just kind of looked it up not too long ago. I want to say there's.
This is gonna be one of those things where like you're at a party and you're lying to the guy.
No, I literally no. Well, no, because I have a friend that went to college back east, and he lived in Boston, and he would tell me about all the open mics and stuff that they had out there. Actually, shout out to Richard Santos, man. He just ran for councilman in Oakland. Whoa. Hopefully he won. If he didn't, man, congratulations still anyway for, you know, even being brave enough to do it, because he just was in law school doing that, and then basically went out and did that. But still don't know any of the comedy clubs. I can't really remember it come to my mind. I know it'll come to my mind later.
Same here, man. Same here in Boston. Yeah.
But I didn't want to make it seem like I was lying, though. So, because when you at the party and you're not lying, you'll go in depth and you'll go all night. No, you stay here, so you can get this educational work that I'm about to give you. And stuff. Like, I know a lot about Boston.
And anytime there's like, you know, when I just meet somebody at a party and we're going over topics, it's like, you know, there's that first phase where you're trying to find the mutual topic and you just can't find it. It's like, oh, it's cool, man. So like, what do you do for sports? And they're like, oh, I like golf. Like, shit, I don't know shit about golf.
Yeah.
It's like, do you like to travel? Like, where you been? Like, no, not really. I stay home. Oh, okay, shit. They're like,
it's kind of an awkward question to ask. Like, do you like to travel? Man, it's a pandemic going on right now, okay?
Yeah.
Get it together.
Dude, I just started doing, you know, like I'm trying to date again during the pandemic. So it's like all of it is digital, where I just downloaded some apps, but it's not really like, I was just curious to see what it was like on there. But before that, it was like the questions that you have to like ask people in like dating now. It's different, you know, it's different. Like, cause it's not like, like, do you go to the gym? It's like, what? There's no gyms. Don't even. It's like, oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah, they take away. Dating apps basically taking away all the simple questions or all the icebreakers and stuff right now. So I wouldn't know because I'm in a relationship. So let's get. Tell me about. Okay, so you were born in the Philippines, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when did you kind of move to basically the States, particularly California?
So I moved here, I think I was like 6 or 7 months old at the time. And we had moved to Los Angeles first. That was the first place we lived. And then I think I lived there until I was about like 4 or 5. And then I started kindergarten in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So was it there was an adjustment period on your part? Well, because like, okay, I mean, but you were kind of young when you moved from LA to Sacramento, but
so I had to
be a little bit adjusting.
I would say the adjusting was probably more for my brothers because they're a little bit older, and then for me, it was more culturally from like adjusting from being home with my family. That was very
Mm,
Filipino.
yeah.
And then going into like the world. Cause it's like when I go home, it's like being in the Philippines, you know? And
Yeah.
then when I go out to school, it's like nobody knows what a Filipino is. Like I remember when I
Yeah,
first,
I was gonna ask that. I was gonna ask that too. Like people, well, I'm from
yeah.
Central California, so
So, you
Filipinos are
know,
very common out here. But like, there's a lot of times where you be like, "Man, are you Filipino?" I'm not Filipino. I'm like Japanese. Do I
yeah,
look Filipino? Like they'll get
yeah.
mad and get angry
I
about it.
don't,
So I
I don't,
guess,
I don't get upset at that. I think maybe I'm more upset that nobody knows what a Filipino is. But if somebody
mm,
thinks I'm like Thai or whatever, some other Southeast Asian thing, I'm just
yeah.
like, I get that, I get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah. No, because I know you probably get this a lot. They'll be like, "Oh, you're Filipino, so you like sushi, huh?" Like a lot. Like, wait a minute, that's
yeah.
Japanese. That's
And then I'm
not
like,
really.
no, no, no. Actually, I'm like, damn, I love sushi.
Yeah.
I'm like,
He
uh-oh.
said, "I mean, it depends. Are you buying?
Yeah.
Like, because if you are, then that gets worse and stuff."
Yeah.
So,
No, for sure. But it's I think more a lot of the adjusting for me happened as I got older. It's like it was like back and forth because first it was like assimilating when I was in grade school. So like age 5 through like 13 was like trying to figure out my place um in school. And then as I got older, it was like unassimilating where I'm like, nah, fuck that, dude. Like celebrating my culture. So it was
yeah.
weird. It's weird. I've been back and forth.
Yeah, nah. And then like so how like growing up in Sacramento, man, like I know it's like it's a lot different than
Yeah.
LA or it's a lot different than Southern California and Central California. I know up north like
Yeah.
living in Sacramento cuz living in Sacramento, I've only visited Sacramento a few times and I can just tell like it's a place that's very hard to live at. So, being Filipino there, like is there a strong Filipino community in Sacramento?
Yeah, there, man. Filipinos are everywhere, man. We have a Jollibee, so that's if there's a Jollibee, it's basically like Filipinos have planted like a beacon of like, hey, we're out here, you know.
Mhm.
There's Jollibee is like basically the Filipino McDonald's.
Yeah.
And you guys have one out there?
No.
Okay, it's like yeah, it's like a fast food Filipino place. You can get, dude, you can get spaghetti with fried chicken. That's one of the meals,
Okay.
and they have burgers as well,
Uh,
chicken, whatever, and but it's a cool fast food place. And so if they have one in your city, there's usually like a ton of Filipinos. But
okay.
and they stick together, man. They have like a lot of my family. When I was growing up, we would go to like the seafood market.
Mhm.
It's like basically the Asian market where you could get all the ingredients that you need for your stuff. And there's like I wish white people had this experience because like we would go to Rayleigh's and Safeway and whatever the grocery
Yeah.
store is, but there was like live animals that you could buy and eat, like the fresh crab running around, like the fish in the aquariums, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like so for me as a kid, it was cool to go not just for the food, but also like I got to go to the aquarium at the same time.
He said,
I was
I got to
fascinated at like
see.
the crabs that have
Yeah.
the rubber bands on them still. So
He was like, I got to see live animals. I'm gonna eat later. That's
yeah.
awesome. Like, so that works
It
out.
always had a unique smell too, man. It was like the
Yeah.
spices over there just brings me back.
Now your place just sounds like a brothel. But
Yeah.
all
They
right.
had that too. They had that too.
Yeah. Oh, that was in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But okay. So tell me when like how would you like realize that actually like you were actually pretty funny like or you had a pretty good sense of humor like
Hmm.
did you find that out like as a child or like when you got to high school or even in college?
Yeah. I'm interested for you as well because I'm always interested in comics answers to this because I don't know if mine is unique or just everyone's, but like, dude, I didn't really think I was funny like growing up. I would be funny in my group of friends, like in a small group, but I wasn't like class clown. And I think
Mm.
some comics are that, but I was always afraid, man. I lived in fear in my class setting. So what I would do was like, let's say I'm in the back of the class, I would joke to like the 4 seats around me,
Mm.
and then like they would laugh, and then like eventually those guys would tell me like, hey man, you should do stand up, like slowly over time. And then I thought about it, but I never took it seriously because when I would do like any public speaking thing, I would just, oh man, I would be so nervous.
Yeah, no, I think with me, I want to say I was always basically, I wouldn't say I was a class clown because I was too scared to like actually have mom get called. But I was funny around my friends and around my family. I wasn't the funniest though around my family. So
Yeah.
like they kind
Yeah.
of delayed my comedy career for a little bit
Would they like shoot you
because
down a little bit, or you just didn't
no,
believe it?
I just didn't think I was like I thought my cousins and everybody I
Yeah.
thought they were funnier than I was.
Dude, I
So
relate to that so hard. Yeah.
so I was like, well, if I'm not funnier than this person, like
How could
I'm not gonna
I?
be funnier for
If
other
I'm not
people.
funnier than this fucking accountant, then how can I go on stage?
Yeah, no. And then
Yeah.
when I got to college, though, I kind of was like, oh, well, I might not be funnier than this person or funnier than my relatives and stuff, but I
Yeah.
definitely know that I would probably do stand up before this person. So my courage kind of built up and got in and stuff when I got to college, and then that's when I started to try stand up for the first time.
You started in college?
Yeah, no, because
Okay.
I literally thought like if you wanted to be a comedian, you had to go to college and
Oh,
graduate from
interesting.
college.
Interesting.
And I thought you either had to graduate from college or be over 21. So I literally waited until I was like 22
Uh,
years old,
yeah.
then got up and started doing it. And then like when I got there, I found out that you could be 12 years old and do
And do
comedy.
stand up.
So
Oh man.
that's what I'm saying. And then my mom like kind of it was funny because when I told my mom I was gonna do stand-up comedy for the first time, she was okay with it, but she thought it was just a one-shot deal. And
Yeah.
then like when I told her I was gonna keep doing it, then she was like, yeah, just make sure
So,
you get your schooling done though
yeah.
first.
Same.
But
Yeah,
I
my
think she
parents
said it. I think she said it because yeah, I think she said it because she didn't think this comedy career was gonna work. So,
to make money in it and all that stuff.
yeah, so
I mean, I
but you
try to think
graduated.
about I've mine is kind of similar. Like I started in college. I started when I was turning 21. So it
Mm,
was the February before I turned 21. And I turned 21 in April. So like the first few mics I did, some of them I had to sneak into a bar to do an open mic and
mm,
stuff like that. But it was a similar experience where I did graduate, but I knew though I wanted to do stand up. I mainly finished because I was like, I'm already in school. I don't want to waste what money has already been spent. Like, let's just finish. And I never did anything with that degree at all. Yeah.
well, well, actually, that leads me to my next question because like I found out like this is something I just found out recently, but and I
Yep.
think like not a lot of comics that know you know this, but you were a music teacher,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense now because part of your act is with a guitar and like kind of doing like musical comedy.
Yeah.
So you were a music teacher. Like, how is being a music teacher? Like, I can only
Yeah.
imagine like what type of music teacher you were, and I'm
Uh
pretty
huh.
sure you almost got fired like 8 times.
You know what's funny is that is true, but probably not for the reasons you'd think, or maybe it was exactly the reasons you'd think. I'm just not a great employee, man. Like it's hard for me to be an employee at places. Like I don't know what it'd be like to for other like TV jobs specifically. That'd probably be different, but like in the regular workforce,
Hmm.
I'm not good, man. Like
Yeah, that's a lot of comics. So,
yeah,
like, how are you not a good employee? Like, you always
so
late or?
yeah, late, always trying to reschedule stuff. Like the day of, I'll call in, and it's like I never understood why you only get 2 weeks of like vacation time. I always used to think like 2 weeks of vacation, like how do you that's there's 52 weeks in the year after work. Like I just never understood that system. And just so many things I just thought were like injustices to mankind that were just small things that everyone does at work.
Is
So I
your
was just not,
15-minute bathroom break
dude, I
15
would take
minutes?
every bathroom break possible. So my first job in college, I worked at a bankruptcy law office,
Mm.
and I would plan my bathroom break. So I would plan it where like I would uh, do a bathroom break like pretty soon after I got there, and then another one right before lunch, and then go to lunch, and then like it was just basically trying to work as little as possible by using all my bathroom breaks. And I would just chill in there, like play games on my phone and stuff.
don't don't you only get two a day? Don't you only get two bathroom breaks a day?
Uh, I think something happened in my video thing here, but I think it was I don't know if they really checked over here. They would just let you kind of go as long as you weren't gone for like too long.
Mm.
And also I was kind of like overqualified for that job because everybody else that worked that position that I did at that law office before were high schoolers.
Mm.
So like
Wow.
they just trusted me, like okay, he's cool. And I really hope they don't hear this, or that they do hear this as a warning to never hire
They're
someone like me
they're
again.
definitely watching this.
Yeah.
And they're definitely agreeing with you, like you were the worst employee they ever had.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so
dude.
glad
When I left,
that
they
you
didn't
left.
even fight it. They weren't even like, no, you
Yeah.
should, whatever. They're like, yeah, that's
Oh,
probably for the best.
that's how you know. That's how you know. 30 minutes later, they were going to fire you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yo,
They're
we
like,
was about
thank
to fire
God.
you. Like, I'm glad you left, so we can meet it. It's mutual. We ain't got to pay you unemployment. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. You quit. Remember, you quit.
man.
So it gets weird. So don't make it weird.
But the music
So,
teaching one, I thought I was a good teacher. Like, I would teach a lot of kids and then some adults. I felt like I was a good teacher, like reaching and communicating with the student and making it fun. But again, the employee part of it, like, so I was doing stand up at the same time, doing like really like no, not like big gigs or anything, but I would reschedule all my students and not tell my boss, like, or the
mm,
studio, because I was working at like a studio where it's like there's a boss and then like maybe 5 teachers, and then people
mm,
would come in for private lessons. I
mm.
just rescheduled them without telling people. I was like, hey, next week, are you cool with just rescheduling this to the next week? And I would just do it all the time if I picked up a gig. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, you were making parents hella mad. Like, look, man, like he keep rescheduling every week, but y'all want me to pay on time. Like, I don't get
yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
this ain't working. You gotta fire him. Like,
It's
he
like
don't.
I was trying to fuck that night, and now
Yeah,
my kid is gonna be at home
yeah,
with me.
yeah, yeah. That's how you can tell. That's a divorced housewife
Yeah.
life. Like, I gotta plan my sexual adventures around
Your kids'
your
hobbies.
schedule.
I
Yeah.
almost think that
So.
kids only have hobbies like karate and like tutoring stuff because parents need to have sex. Like, I almost feel like that's that's why there's so many. That's why after school programs are such a big thing.
Oh man, kids are gonna watch. Like, kids are gonna watch this and be like, "Man, is that why my mom got me in soccer?" Like, she
Yeah.
showed me. She be encouraging me to go to football
I
practice.
was in drama,
Yeah.
chess, football. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, actually, no. You know what? Because my girlfriend's son, like, he doesn't want to do any extracurricular activities, and we try and get him to do extracurricular activities. I
Yeah.
thought it was because we need him to get out the house so he can make friends.
Yeah.
But with my girlfriend, it probably might be different. She might be out. She might want
Who
him out of
knows?
the house to do that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like I'll talk to her about that later.
Hey man,
But
I don't know. You never know. She wants that Tyson Paul D.
yeah, probably not. But probably, especially not during the pandemic.
Oh
But
yeah.
so tell me about some of your early beginnings in comedy, because I know you made the transition from being like, basically working for the man to like just getting on stage. But I know, like, in the early beginnings, being on stage, it wasn't like you weren't a millionaire right away. So like, tell me
Yeah.
about some of your early beginnings.
And I'm also not a millionaire now, so
Oh yeah, I mean, it's
no,
obvious.
no,
You're talking to us. You're talking to me right now. If you're talking to
no,
me, you
man.
ain't got
Well, first of all,
$1 million.
I wanted to mention this right away in the beginning of the thing, so I was like, I don't want to take away from the way that the topics are going too. But man, like that night, I stayed
Oh
at
yeah.
your place, man. I don't know if you care about me mentioning that. You freaking
No.
saved my life, dude. I was gonna die in the snow. People were dying in their trucks. So like,
Yeah.
for anyone who watches this, Tyson, when I was trying to drive from Sacramento to LA during, was it Christmas time or Thanksgiving?
Yeah. It was actually right. It was like the day
Christmas.
after Christmas. Day after Christmas.
Yeah. I think like the Grapevine, but really all of the freeways in that area
Yeah.
closed
All
down
the
from
freeways.
snow.
Yeah, they were closed.
So everybody got hotels because everyone's driving back from NorCal to LA or SoCal. And then so all the hotels were booked. So people had to sleep
Mhm.
in their cars. And then what's it called? Somebody did, a few people or I don't know, somebody died that night in their truck.
Yeah, yeah. Like a few people did in the cold and stuff like that. And I know
Yeah.
there was other people that like got in accidents and stuff like that because they were still trying to drive
They
through
tried
and
to
find
go.
another way.
They tried to
It
go.
was
I was thinking about it, but I was just like, I've learned, man. I've driven through snow and stuff in other places and just been through hell. And I
yeah.
was like, I'm not gonna mess with that. And so you responded like a Facebook post
Hmm.
and were like, hey man, like come stay with me. I was like, oh fuck yeah, man. It's like I was so happy, man. I felt like, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I
Yeah,
was getting
actually,
rescued from the Titanic. Like I'm in the water, like hanging on the luggage,
yeah.
and you're like like Kate Winslet blowing the whistle.
Yeah.
I felt like that, man.
Yeah, and I came through with my rap.
Yeah, you came through like.
What's up, man? What's up? Actually, no. The funny part about it is I don't think you know this about the story was. Okay, I had been trying to get you booked on one of our shows for the longest time, but you would never get back to me. And then
Oh,
I
really?
saw
On Facebook or
yeah.
what?
No, it was on
What?
Instagram. I would DM you on Instagram about like, hey, like we would love to have you do our show,
Yeah.
and never got back to me. I think you were
Hey,
like,
if you had a
like,
profile pic with like some chick with big titties, I'd probably respond.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It didn't have nothing like that at all. So,
Yeah.
no. So then I saw on Facebook that you were stranded in Bakersfield and
Yeah.
like you were looking for somebody, and I was like, oh, this is my moment. Like I could feed him, have him sleep here, and then I can get him to do a show for basically nothing because basically
Yeah.
he'd owe me a favor.
Yeah,
So
I owe you
if
for
I didn't
life.
if I didn't want to book you on the show, you'd have been homeless still.
Oh man, I know.
Like,
Dude, I'd be dead.
it's funny how
Would've
God
died.
works. And so, but,
It was no man. It was though. It was. I mean, even after that, man, I was just like, dude, like, because I don't even know. I don't know if I've looked back through the DMs and seen those messages even now. But I got to look at it.
no, don't look back at them because I got a little rude. I got
Really?
a little rude and some of the language, yeah. It's
You're like, yeah, who do you think you are?
Famous. All that. I got rude in the end.
No, but dude, literally, like, it's funny because I think I usually I have a lot of like requests that I haven't seen if we're not, whatever, and so it was nothing ever personal. But now that I know, and everything, man, yeah, that night I was just like, dude, or that day, I was like, any show, let me know if I'm free. I'm
and then like we tried to get you in a few shows, and then the pandemic happened. It was crazy.
I know. Yeah, we had like 3 shows booked, right?
Man, yeah, all over too, and it was weird. And the pandemic killed all that. So thank you, COVID and stuff. So
yeah.
But like moving on to that part, so like when did you realize that you can actually make comedy into your career? Like when, like.
Yeah, so 2000. So I think I started like 2011, and then I was never 2014, 15. I had like a big like life questioning or crisis, whatever you want to call it. I was like, dude, I got to figure out, am I doing this or what's the other choice? Because a lot of my family was switching over to dentistry, and everyone, people are getting married, buying houses. I'm like, am I just gonna be that crazy uncle who like does stand up and whatever? So I took it like a lot more seriously back then. I was just looking at every option, and I did some like festivals and was getting like good feedback, but there was no money. So I was just like, well, okay, this is good, but how do I make money? And the first thing where I ever started to make money was the college circuit. Like, like I kept hearing over and over, and when I was at a festival and like an industry person would talk to me, since I was young and Asian, because like diversity, was like is a big thing in the college market. They were like, you should without a doubt go into the college circuit, and I started it and did pretty well from the get-go, and that just like was a big game changer for me, where I had enough money to like say I could do it as my job, and I didn't have to teach music or anything like that. But I actually quit teaching music before even that. I kind of did is it Tony Robbins who said like burn your boats, that whole thing?
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Yeah.
He's like get rid of your fallback plan, which I actually, looking back, I don't recommend that.
Never understood that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like burn all your boats. If you gotta suck dick on the streets to get by, suck dick on the streets to get by. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, the only people that say that are the people whose first plan actually worked. Like,
exactly, because
only Tony Robbins can say that.
Dude, I look back, I was so kind of young and dumb too, so I really took it seriously and I did all that stuff, and I'm really thankful that it worked out. But I don't know that if that first plan didn't work out, I don't know I probably would not be doing stand up. I would have been like, oh shit, okay, I'm like so broke and I'm so hungry and desperate. So I can't really say that's good advice.
I wouldn't recommend it. I always have a backup plan and stuff, especially now, like for comics, especially during COVID and stuff. We definitely need to make sure.
Oh, exactly.
Plan.
Imagine if you heard that plan in January and you're like, yeah, and it's 2020. How cool is it to say,
quitting my job, and then March hits. Like,
yeah, you call them up. Hey, remember when I took a shit in the coffee pot? Yeah. No, that was just me being silly.
Yeah, hire me back, please. Like, hire me back. No,
yeah,
right, cool. Like, I mean, y'all don't let me take 3-month vacations anyway. So,
dude, that was so. I think I was really happy to the college circuit like has been really good to me, and then from there it seemed like, looking back, it just seems like I had some really lucky opportunities all at the same time to have things sort of get set up.
Okay. Yeah, the college circuit is that's where a lot of the money is. Like if you're like a comic, like not big enough yet,
Yeah.
but like you actually want to find where, yeah, definitely college shows. And there's so many colleges
Yeah.
out there just looking for comedy shows, and
Hmm.
like they pay a good amount.
Yeah.
They pay a very good amount, and it actually and in a way that's also how you build your fan base, because college kids are the ones that follow everything you do. Like,
Yeah.
follow me on Instagram. Like, cause you know how you'll be at a comedy show or at a comedy club, you'll do your set, and then you'll tell people like, hey, like follow me on such and such.
Yeah.
Like after
Yeah.
the show, you might get 1 or 2 follows. But if you do a college show,
They're all on
and
social media.
yes,
I did a
I'll
show.
raise your name. They
Exactly.
feel famous.
Dude, I brought up TikTok at the end of a show I did in South Dakota in August. It was a college, and first I was like, "Hey guys, go check out check out the Netflix 15-minute special. Check out this on Comedy Central." And they didn't care. And then I was like, "I'm also on TikTok." Everybody pulled their phones out. Oh, what?
Yeah.
You're on TikTok, bro? So it's like it keeps you on the pulse a little bit, because
Yeah.
I remember I was hearing about Snapchat a lot for a while when I was going to colleges. Like after the
Yeah.
show, you do the meet and greet. They're like, "Hey, do you have a Snap or whatever?" I don't think that's how they say it. I just was trying to like,
No,
you got a Snap?
that's exactly
how
how they say it. That's exactly how they say it. You got a Snap, right? Like, yeah. Like,
Yeah, you Snap, right, bro?
like, yeah. Nah, I mean a Snap, like a Snapchat. Like, oh
Yeah. I probably did
yeah.
something like that too. It's like, yeah, I love jazz. I love poetry.
Yeah. He said, oh, I'm on beat. I'm on beat. Nah, bro, you got a Snap and stuff. So,
Oh man.
but
Yeah.
nah, TikTok, and we'll get into that in a second. TikTok actually is, it's perfect for a
new
comic like
thing.
you. Like, definitely perfect for a comic like you, because since you're so musical, which brings me to the point where, like, you do comedy a lot differently than most comics, because you're actually more, you bring music into it. I mean, you have portions of your show where you do basically just straight stand-up, but then you break the guitar out, and first of all, everybody thinks you're the Filipino John Mayer, and like you just go do your stuff and people love it. So how did you figure out, like in the beginning, like, okay, I can make this music thing work and do the comedy part and just gel them together, and basically strike gold with it? Because you had an album on on iTunes that went #1.
Yeah, it was cool. And you know what? That I couldn't do that without the record label, because I don't understand. I kind of have a vague understanding from what they tell me of how to market stuff and how like release days work for iTunes and Billboard and stuff. And I'll tell you that it's like, I'm like showing the behind the scenes stuff. You're not supposed to show, but like it is probably a lot easier to go #1 in comedy albums than a music album. Like if I was up against like Lady Gaga on my release day, it would be different. But they knew how to do that stuff really well. So I was really thankful to be partnered with is 800-Pound Gorilla Records, and that was really helpful. But yeah, doing the music and comedy thing, it just kind of came naturally, because I had a college course that was like a comedy class that like was taught through the theater program, and we had a project to do a musical comedy song. And I just took that song and put it in my stand-up one day, and that's when it started. And then and it just seemed to like work, so I kept it and then kept adding songs. But it was hard in the beginning, because there was a lot of people that were like anti-music comedy,
Oh yeah.
like I feel like the worst thing you don't want to be called like a guitar comic, like it's weird. It has a really bad connotation. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm just a comedian who plays guitar, because you don't want to be like thrown into that category.
Yeah.
But
like I said,
but
they
yeah,
probably looked at you and just was like, yeah, oh man, he thinks it's karaoke right now.
exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I felt that at first, and then I think I slowly started to get it. I felt like I had to work really hard just to like, all right. Well, one, looking back, I shouldn't care. Like, I think if I was to meet someone today who asked me about it, I'd be like, just do your thing. It'll work out if it works out. If not, it's not because of what people say about you. And then, but as I kept doing it, I found like, if you're funny, that's what gains the respect. It doesn't really matter how you do comedy. It's like, you just do well on stage because, there was a while where like people were shitting on like the Dane Cook style of comedy was like
Yeah.
when alt was really the big thing. And, but there's some really funny people who do that sort of more physical, charismatic thing. And it's like, if it's funny, it's funny. So.
Yeah, no. Actually, and there was speaking of premium blend, like we talked about earlier. There was actually the guy from SNL, the guy that had the character that was the donkey, and he did a whole actual special where he used a live band. And
who was it? What do you remember?
He's from Half Baked. He was on Half Baked too. I don't want to say his name is Chris Kattan because it's not.
Not Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer. Yeah. He had like a rock band or something.
Yeah.
That's
actually
right.
that was one of the best comedy specials I've ever seen. Is Jim Brewer do like
that's awesome.
Because he was like when he was acting like AC/DC doing the hokey pokey.
Yeah.
And then he did some other stuff. So yeah, like
I like that. I do like the showmanship of stand up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it delves into like one man show type of stuff with like Bo Burnham or even like John Leguizamo is more so like one man show, But I do enjoy it. If it's funny and entertaining to me, it's like I like it. But there are also just the traditional stand ups that are like very much like joke or story that I also like a lot.
Yeah, and then I think one thing I definitely like about your comedy and stuff like that is because you do bring the guitar out, but you don't rely on the guitar. Like you'll take you a while before you even start playing. You'll just start talking to the audience, and then it sooner or later just all right. So
it kind of depends on the show too, because some shows I'm like, I just want to get into a song right away and like start with music. But when I was at Laughs this last weekend, the first show, I was just having so much fun with the stand-up part that I did I think I did majority stand-up that show, and then I think I did like 4 songs. But usually it'd be pretty split. It's like half. But it just depends because sometimes I just like talking and like I don't want to I'm not in a singing mood, And then other times it's like I want to throw the songs into it and stuff.
Yeah.
I should probably be more maybe because it's been so long, but I should probably be more organized about my act.
Nah, just let it flow.
Yeah.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I always go with that. Cause I mean, how's your writing process when it comes to using music? Cause I know how a writing process is when you're a stand-up comic. You just basically write what you were thinking about that day or something that happened to you. But when you're kind of musician and a comic at the same time, you kind of have to actually have it in a rhythm.
Yeah.
Where it's basically nothing can throw you off or it throws off the whole set. Because when you're a comic without an instrument on stage and stuff like that, if something throws you off, you can easily get right back on track. But I've never really seen a comic get thrown off of a set and basically come back, but they got a guitar. So it's kind of like being at a music concert and somebody throws something on stage. And the artist can't get back to doing the concert right away. They got to still warm up again and all that. So
yeah, it's like almost with music. If you're in the middle of a song, you got to finish the song. I have stopped a song before though. I've stopped a song before in the middle of the show. It'd be harder if I had a full band, but just with the acoustic guitar, I'll just be like, "Hey, who fucking threw that?" Yeah, but
hey, if this guitar wasn't so expensive. Now anyway, back to my song.
Back and let's cheer up again. But having I forget what the question was, but it was talking about how do I write for music? Well, I'll talk about the recent weeks I've been doing that song request thing, and I think I'll find a melody that I really like because it's important to me that the song is good. Because I almost think that helps. In my opinion, and for what I like when it's a song that I would like to listen to anyway, even if it wasn't funny. I want to, and then if it has to make me laugh. So if I'm singing it and then I start laughing at it, I know there's something there, even if I only have one line. When I wrote Asian Guys Can Smash, I remember just thought that was so fucking funny. I just kept singing it on the piano over and over. I was like, this has got to be something. And I brought it up on stage, and I think I had one verse written, but I just wanted to see if I was delusional or if it was good. I was like,
It makes
Asian
sense.
guys can smash. I was like, yeah, there's something there, something there. And but
Yeah.
the hard thing about that is if it doesn't work the first time, I lose confidence pretty quick. It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard for me to like keep going with a song.
You lose confidence pretty like I would have never guessed that because I thought like comics like we bomb all the time so like
Yeah,
confidence really like so you're one of those people like man if this
with
doesn't work
songs,
like
with songs. So it's
okay
like I'm trying to think of any of the songs that I have now that I think they all worked like because like I would bring them on when they weren't finished. I'll usually like have like a line and just test that line out and then decide if I want to keep writing it. So it's like testing out a joke, or sometimes I'd have the song finished. But I think for the most part, most of them it's like it worked a little bit the first time, and then I would
Mhm.
tweak it over time. Like
Now do you rehearse these songs or do you just basically like do one run through and then just go on
I
stage?
have to rehearse it. So that's the thing about the song is like you have to kind of have it memorized. You got to know the
Mhm.
melody, and so it's weird because you have to like rehearse it a bunch of times for a thing that you might not even keep in your act. You know?
Yeah, that's got to be hard because as a comic, I know we'll like have jokes that we come up with, and
Yeah.
we'll say the joke over and over. But the more we say it, we realize like it starts to lose its luster, and
It
like we
becomes like
try not to.
too scripted.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
try not to really say it that much. So like, it must be harder like with music because now you have to
Yeah.
remember the song, so you have to keep singing the song over and over and over. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see like okay, so I can see how the confidence and everything now and
Yeah.
stuff could be shot. So
Well, I will say
yeah.
like there is one song that I've been trying over and over for like a year now that doesn't always work, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Mhm,
So I think there are some that I'll keep if I really want this idea to work. But
mhm,
it was about like you know how we fill this like this hole in our hearts or our souls with like alcohol, sex, money, or whatever.
mhm.
And I got baptized last year, so I was like interested in this thing. So I was
Oh,
like,
congratulations.
thanks, man. Yeah. And it was like, so I made it, but I got baptized, but I still wanted to write dirty songs. So I wrote a song called Fill My Hole in a spiritual way.
Okay.
Dude,
Yeah, man.
it either crushes or bombs. Like
Mhm.
so hard. It's so hard in both
Yeah,
directions. So I'm just like,
yeah. I can see
yeah.
how people are a little like they're a little on the fence on
Some
that
some lady messaged me on Facebook. She was so mad she took the time to message me on Facebook later that night. I was like, damn, this is in Utah in Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah, that's more understandable
Yeah.
now.
So,
Oh man, she. How long was the message?
oh, it was like like when you see like you get a message from a girl and you're in trouble. It was
Yeah,
like that. It was like a
every
long
day.
like took every day.
Every day.
But now you seem
Yeah.
like you'd be a good what's the word? Are you guys boyfriend or are you guys married?
No, we're not married yet. We're not married
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably. Fingers crossed. If I ask, I
Yeah.
hope she says yes.
Yeah,
We
cool,
live
cool.
together though. We live together and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, living together,
When I came, you know what was
that's
the
like a.
sign of like a good relationship was like you guys gave me snacks when I left.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I
that's all
mean?
her. That's all her.
But still, but those are those relationship couples where I'm like they're gonna make
Yeah.
it. I don't know
Uh,
why, but I could just tell.
well, yeah, no, but like also with every relationship, you'll like it's two people living together, like with
Yeah.
different characteristics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
You're
then
trying to say
we're
she's like the all-star in the relationship and you're
she is actually she's the superstar in the relationship. I'm on and she's watching. She'll watch this later and then try and make it seem like I'm full of shit. But she is like the super. She's the superstar of the relationship.
Yeah.
I'm more of the fuck up of the relationship. Like my mom loves her. If my mom could, she would totally trade all of us for her. Like
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
it's that type of relationship. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I still get in trouble every day. Every
For
day I
sure.
got something. It's
Hey
a
man.
text about something. So it's just the price of being a comic.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, no. Especially like for you, I mean, with you and the lady that messaged you, I think as comics, like you're not good until you have people message you.
I get, you know what? That's an interesting thing because I think what it is at least it's a sign that people care about what you're doing. That's the
Yeah.
first sign. Like the first time I ever got any message that was like that, it's like, well, I mean, it's just, if I did this and then they thought this would have no impact anywhere, then they would be like, whatever, no one's gonna watch it. But if they thought like, oh no, like someone's gonna hear this and I disagree with it, I need to attack this young man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
but
because I've had people come up to me right after the show, and I tell them right before, I was like, oh yeah,
yeah,
these are just jokes. These are just jokes, man. I'm just
yeah.
like trying to show you guys a good time. No, these ladies be mad. I remember I had a girl after one comedy show, or no, during my set, she was walking to the bathroom, and like, as a comic, like when somebody is walking during your set, you got to talk about the person walking.
Mm,
So I just sat there and
yeah,
said, like, oh, looks like she's going to do the number two in the bathroom. Everybody
yeah,
looked at her. She got embarrassed. Everybody was laughing. And
yeah.
4 years later, literally 4 years later, I was in a club and didn't remember this girl at all, but I just noticed this tall chick staring at me like for literally like 3 songs. And I went up to her and I was like, do I know you? And she was like, yeah, nah, don't effing talk to me. Like, don't effing talk to me.
Wow.
Like, you remember, I don't like you. You did that joke about me. I was like, all right, look,
Yeah,
first of all, I don't even remember the joke. And I do a
yeah,
joke about a lot of people. So I apologize already up front. She was like, no, you had everybody thinking I was going to the bathroom. Like, doing the number two. I don't do the number two in public.
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, she was mad. It
Damn,
sticks. It
she
sticks
was
to
hurt.
people. It sticks. No, but I was actually on the inside. I felt honored. I was like,
Yeah,
I
like, oh,
was
you
that
remembered me.
important.
Oh,
I was that
yeah,
important to your life that you remembered I'm the
yeah.
guy that
Was she
that you
hot?
said you was gonna. No, no, she wasn't. She wasn't hot, and she was
Okay.
tall. She was tall. I have a thing
Yeah.
about tall women,
I
but
like that, man. I like tall women. I want them to be able
no,
to, if they
I
could pick me
can't.
up, I kind of like it.
No, if you're taller than me, don't stand by me. If
I
you're
will say
like,
though, I've never been with like a super super tall chick, but I
mm,
would though. But what? Because wait, what's the thing? Why is it like? Do you want
it's
them to
just
be more like?
weird. No,
Yeah.
it's just weird. Like I always feel like you talking down to me. Like
You
it's just weird.
don't want your girl to
Like
be able to beat you up, like changes the power dynamic.
she wouldn't beat me up. She wouldn't beat me up, but it's
Yeah.
like I can't
Yeah, you're like
I
I'll
can't
still beat
have a
her ass.
conversation. I can't have a conversation with you and I'm looking up at you. Like
Yeah,
like I feel
for
like I'm
sure.
having a conversation with somebody I look up to, but I don't
Yeah,
look up to you in that way.
yeah,
So yeah, nah, but it was funny. That girl really remembered it, and she probably will watch this and be like, yeah, I still remember you, and
yeah. I
I
still
follow
hate you.
you in a very evil way.
Yeah,
Like
she
so.
follows you just so she can hate you, so she could fill
Oh
out
yeah,
the
nah.
hate
She's
points for the
waiting.
week.
She's waiting. She's waiting for that day where we have a hate Tyson day, so she can be front and center.
Dude, that's a real thing, man. People hate follow, I think, on social media. They
Yes,
hate follow. Oh,
yes,
let me just keep in. I just want to like
yes,
remind myself to hate this person.
yes. They call them exes. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, nah, they will follow you. They'll follow you, and then like they'll wait for the first person to chime in, and then that's when they'll like just unload the whole clip on you. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
and he ain't shit.
Yeah.
So, but
They're waiting for you to
but
have a scandal, and I'd be like, you know what else I heard?
yeah, no, he's been like that all his life.
Yeah.
He's been telling
Yeah.
people, he's been watching people take shits all his life and
That's
stuff.
why he
But
loves it. Yeah.
yeah, no. So, you actually okay. So another thing that you did, you won an NBC competition, a comedy competition, and I think like that's a big deal because they don't really have those anymore, where you win a competition, especially for a network like NBC, and like usually it leads to you doing pilots and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
What did winning that competition in 2016 do for you?
I would say the biggest thing it got for me, I did a lot of auditions, and they helped me like kind of just get my foot in the door for the industry. But we did go pitch. So we went and
Mm-hmm.
pitched, and I got a additional deal with 20th Century Fox because of that pitching process.
Mm,
Unfortunately, the show didn't go, but
mm,
but that was like the whole behind the scenes thing, and but it was a lot. So the main three things, it was college touring. So I got
mm,
like a tour through that, and then um, auditioning for shows, and
mm,
then the opportunity to pitch shows as well. So it was like
mm,
kind of like as a comic, it's like any route that you could possibly take. They just wanted to help you,
mm,
and I think it's really good if you have a specific route. Like let's say if I knew at that time, I'm gonna be a comedic actor with stand
mm,
up, I think that's probably where I would have ended up. But to be honest, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do when I won it. I was like, I don't know. I love stand up, but I kind of want to act in something. I kind of want to write something. So
Mm-hmm.
I think what that helped me do was it let me see what each thing would be like. Like I got to
Mm-hmm.
pitch, I got to audition for some stuff. I ended up acting in a pilot presentation with that was super fun, and but it was through something else. It was just like they had heard about me through the deal, and
Mm-hmm.
then they saw me do stand up at the Comedy Store, and so they asked me if I could be part of this little like pilot presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of got my feet in everything, and a
Mm-hmm.
better idea of like what is the pitch process like, what is it,
Okay.
yeah, just a bunch of it was like I kind of felt like it was like I got to learn by doing, because
Yeah.
like I was pretty green in every audition room I was going into. It was like auditioning with people who've been acting forever. Like
Yeah.
I would see people who I was like, oh shit, like I've seen this person on the show, and now I'm acting like I get like competing as
Mm-hmm.
well, and I kind of felt the imposter syndrome of like, oh shit, like what the fuck am I
I'm
doing
not
here?
supposed to be here. Like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it
So
helped because now I have that confidence of just the experience
yeah.
of like I know what to
Yeah.
expect going into it, and
Yeah, because
yeah.
during the experience, like it seems like you weren't really that confident about it. You were just kind of like, okay, I already won, so like I'm just embracing like anything that comes my way. Because I know a
I was
lot of
saying yes to
people.
everything after that. I was like, because like
Yeah,
if they tell you, hey, you have an audition for this pilot, I'm not going to tell them like, oh no, I've never
yeah,
acted before. I was like,
yeah.
let's do it, man. Even if I like
Oh,
fall flat on my face, I'm like,
he's
let's
like, I took it
fucking
back. I took it back to the guy at the party thing where
yeah,
I
yeah,
acted like I
yeah,
knew what I was talking
fake,
about, but didn't. I faked it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And then
took it. That's every
but
comic.
the thing that stuck was pitching. That was the thing where I was like, oh, I think I'm actually good at this, and
Yeah.
so that was the thing that worked out. And then we actually pitched for the last 2 years. So we pitched
Mm-hmm.
1 year to the networks, gave it a rest, and then
Mm-hmm.
the following summer, which was last summer, we went out and pitched it again with this. It was the production company and 20th Century Fox,
So
but
this was something.
didn't go.
This was something you created and you pitched it, or like
Y-
so. Like describe the pitching process. Like what
Yeah,
was that?
so it was an idea I wrote, and I brought it to my manager, who then like shared it. Like they send
Mm-hmm.
just whatever materials you have, like a one pager or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
to who like writers, production companies, or studios, and then you see like we ended up getting a meeting with a production company that liked it, and so I pitched to them, and then so I teamed up with them, and I teamed up with a writer, and eventually pitched it to a studio. So we're like gathering a team, and then when we finally
Mm-hmm.
had the team, we went and pitched to networks,
Okay.
who who all
Okay.
said who all said no.
It said they declined it, but hey,
Yeah,
it's a process. It's still a process. But that did lead to you doing show with Kevin Hart actually on Comedy Central for Heart of the City. Now that like when you did it, I knew that was like the biggest thing in comedy right then and there. Like Heart of the
yeah,
City. Like I know a lot of us was watching that every week, just seeing the
yeah,
towns and cities that they went to and seeing who got picked. And then also because a lot of us were part of the like tryout process, like basically
yeah,
where we was all standing in line at every city that Kevin went to and was trying to try out, and then you like it was weird because you got selected, and
yeah,
I remember because I was like, man, I feel like I know him, and he got selected on, got to talk to Kevin Hart and
yeah.
everything, and so what was the day shooting and everything like that? Because I think his best like Kevin Hart's best friend is from Sac, he's from the Sac area, like
Oh,
west of
is he
Sac, like
one of the? Because like he has that crew. It's like
yeah,
yeah,
I want to say his name. I think it's Joey. I think
Joey.
Joey's from the
I didn't know that. I
like
didn't know that.
Fresno.
I think I had known that he was from NorCal, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was fun. It was really cool. Like the crowd was super hot, and like still to this day was probably one of my favorite tapings, and that was like my
Mm,
first. Actually, it was technically my second taping, because the thing I had done
mm.
before that was for like this Hulu thing called Coming to the Stage,
Yeah.
and but it wasn't as big as this one. So, but
Mm,
yeah, but it was fun. It was a good time, and you know what? Actually, the way that I got that was some dude emailed me.
mm.
So like I think they had seen like a YouTube video,
Yeah.
and in that video it says like Sacramento.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they just YouTubed Sacramento comedy or something, And so this dude emailed me the most vague email that I thought was just going to be like a casting couch, because he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey man, you want to be on a TV show?"
Yeah.
That's literally
Hey,
all it
bro,
said.
you want to be on a TV show? Hey,
And it's
man,
like
go ahead
it's
and
from
jump
like
on.
a AOL
Yeah.
email or something like that. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I think the email had a .net, whatever it was. And I was like, I said yes, but
Yeah.
you know, kind of skeptical. And then it did turn out like they gave me like a week to prep. They were like, okay, well
Oh,
we're
yeah.
shooting like next week, and just have your 8-minute set ready. So it was like
Mm.
I just did. I think I did like 3 mics or showcases to run it, and then did the
Okay.
show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the day of was it was crazy because I remember I was just like so nervous, man. The second I woke up, I bought new shoes and I think a new shirt for it.
Yeah.
And they
Oh
didn't even
boy,
show the shoes, man.
that's a month. Yeah, they didn't show. He's like, man, I bought these shoes. Fuck. They show
Yeah.
the shirt though. Like I got
Yeah,
a
yeah,
t-shirt.
that shirt made it. That shirt made it.
Yeah, nah, but I think it's funny how the email story that you tell, like, it's funny because that's literally how comedy works.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are gonna watch this as like, who would actually accept a weird email? But no, that's exactly how comedy shows
Yeah.
or comedy TV shows, anything that has to do
It's
with
weird.
comedy, you're gonna get a vague DM,
Hmm.
and it's gonna be sketchy. The sketchier the
Yeah.
DM, the more possible the show is probably
I
real.
think what it is the more last minute it was. They were just like,
Yeah,
all right, let's get another, I don't know,
yeah,
whatever. And then, but sometimes you can go the other route that's more professional. But like a lot of times you'll get the weird one. I
yeah.
almost got sucked into a scam though recently, because like
Mm,
now I'm more like, yeah, this stuff happens. Like you said, it's regular. Someone just emails you.
yeah,
Recently, I think I was almost victim of like someone saying like they would pay me to do sponsored ads on my Facebook.
yeah,
And because that sounds believable, right? I'm like, yeah,
mm,
okay, let's do it. And
yeah.
then as we went deeper and deeper, I was like, there's a lot of typos in this thing.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, like what's with the typos?
yeah.
Yeah,
Just like, yeah, this is fake.
yeah, yeah.
The more the typos, they didn't prove
And then the
it.
country code was like, why aren't you? Where are you
Yeah.
in the world?
Oh,
I'm like,
if there's a plus sign, and then like just 2 numbers, it's fake. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
run
You see
away
that
from
plus sign?
that immediately. Once you see the plus sign and the 2 numbers, like somebody from Nigeria is trying to get over, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. But so is Heart of the City the way that you got on to Netflix? Like, is Heart of the City the way you caught the eye for Netflix and got on to the comedy lineup? Because you were on that
Yeah.
first season, and I would like to say that first season, like, of the comedy lineup, like everybody from that show basically is now like
Doing
like
something
some of the
legit.
biggest names in comedy right now
Tim
and stuff.
Dillon
So
blew up. Michelle Buteau.
yeah,
Jack Knight's like writing for a bunch of things. Josh Johnson's writing for a bunch of things. Taylor Tomlinson.
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's I would say the way I got that was from I did JFL New Faces,
mm,
and this is things you never really know how they found you, but that was like my first showcase in front of any like Netflix industry,
mm,
and then my manager emailed me later that fall because it was in July. I think she messaged me like in October and was like, "Do you have a 15-minute set to submit for this Netflix series?" And I I submitted it to them. So
oh, okay, that
yeah,
makes sense.
then I think
And then
yeah.
no. So, basically, like how? Okay, because I remember how the shooting went, but like, was that all like? Were you guys? Did they shoot all those episodes in one day, or did they like have you guys? I know
Yeah,
they had you guys in Atlanta, right?
we were in Atlanta, so I got there as early as I could and just ran sets in town. Like actually, me and Jack Knight, we got there around the same time,
Mm,
and we just kind of we booked a bunch. I don't even know how, but we ended up doing a lot of them together. And I don't remember if we organized that or what, but we were just bouncing all over the city, doing every showcase, running the 15s.
mm,
And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but then we taped it. There was 3 days. It was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was on the same night. It was like um Sam J, I think Ian Carmel,
okay.
Kate Willett, and I think maybe Emma Willman and Ashlyn B. I might be wrong about Emma, but I think I forget. But I took a picture of that thing because it was like, it was a big day at the time.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So now that because now you got the TV credits. I mean, like now you're getting booked for like just all over all the time, and you're basically like a traveling comic. Like, what is the positives and negatives of traveling? Because I know like one of the positives is like you get to travel and see all these places, but I
Yeah.
also know the negatives is like you kind of got to use your own car. Like you put miles
Oh
on your
yeah.
cars. Uh, like you get stranded due to the
Yeah.
snow. And then also you get anxiety and stuff. Some comics do and stuff. Like
Totally.
how like for you being a traveling comic, because you've like traveled all over the world. So
Yeah.
like what's like kind of some of the positives and negatives for you being a traveling comic?
That's a good question. I feel like I'll start with the negatives, so it's not doesn't end on that note. But like, the negative, I think it's just is the isolation because you're spending so much time alone, which is I think it would be great to be at that level where I can bring someone with me all the time. That's like a close friend, like Russell Peters does that and stuff. And but I would say it's like there's a lot of isolation from the airport to the hotel to whatever. Like the show is the most you'll be around people, and then
Yeah.
after that, it's you're really talking to strangers all the time. And dude, yeah, so it's like you at that because of it, I just love seeing familiar faces. Like
Yeah.
when I see someone like, oh, they fucking know you and you know me, like that's so cool. But like most of the time, it's just random conversations with the person next to you in the airplane.
Yeah.
Which can be great though too. So that's also I would put some of that in the positive category.
Mm.
But like I feel like I miss a lot of family stuff because of that, and um, I would say that those are the two big things: isolation and the schedule, and it's
Yeah.
just so tiring. But but the positives of it, I mean, it's just good. I just love being a full time comic. Like I think it's just
Mm.
that thing where like I also look back at the things that were also hard. It's dope that I get to travel the world and the people that I've met. Like some of my best days are like looking back on the comedy, like being like, oh shit, dude, I was hanging out in Singapore. We did Comedy Central Asia, and
Mm.
one of the nights, me and all the it was basically Asian comics from around the world,
Yeah.
and we all went to karaoke night. And dude, karaoke night with like 10 Asian comics, that was like one of my most fun nights in stand up. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can totally relate to basically some of the negative parts to being traveling con. I remember like the first show I had to actually do out of my city, and like the guy was like basically gonna pay me to stay in a hotel. I was by myself, and I hated the whole time I was in the hotel because I had nothing to
Yeah,
do. It was a city
yeah,
I didn't know, and I didn't know where to go. And
yeah.
like I'm calling friends back home. I was like, "You guys should come up here and just like hang out. Like I got this hotel room,
And they're
and
like,
like
hey
we're
man, we
not."
have like a life and a family that I
Yeah,
gotta.
they're like,
Yeah,
we're not driving. We're not driving over there. Like, yeah, you guys just take the good with the bad. And then
yeah.
I remember. Okay, so here's a funny story, and this is how I found out that basically I was afraid of airplanes. Okay, so I did a comedy show in San Francisco, and I was supposed to go to Vegas the following, like, or that same day. So basically, what the show did was they were like, okay, we'll we'll have you basically drive to San Francisco, and then we'll pay for your flight to Las Vegas. So I did the show, then they paid for my flight to go to Las Vegas,
Hmm.
and I'm waiting for the plane like to take off. Okay, the girl that sat right on the side of me started freaking out. Like just started freaking out
Oh no.
and everything. I'm not gonna lie, I had a few drinks in my system to calm my nerves, and when she started freaking out, I started freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god! Like, are we really gonna die? Am I really
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
die?"
You just believe the
Yeah.
reactions of the people around you.
Called my mom and everything. Like I didn't cry, but I was close enough. And she thinks this is the funniest story of all time. She still tells the story to her friends. Like, okay, Tyson's afraid of planes, and this is how he found out. And it
Yeah.
was the funniest experience. And then the flight was only like an hour, not even that long.
Oh,
Like
that's
it was crazy.
amazing. It's
It was
like,
funny.
yeah,
It was funny, but then the positive side is like you get to see the world. So that's that you get to see the world, and you get to
yeah,
make people you've never seen or anything like that laugh their ass off. So I always
yeah.
feel like there's a
People are
price to
so
pay, but it's
grateful,
worth it.
like what we're doing. I think like people are really happy to go to comedy shows. I always forget that. I get stuck in the like, oh, it's a grind or whatever.
Yeah,
But to remember like why we started it was because like we loved laughing and somebody made us laugh like that, it was like, oh, this is dope. So
Yeah. So, well, now that COVID actually happened, like, how is your traveling? How has comedy just been in general for you since COVID happened? Like, because you obviously you had to sit still. This is like the first time in a long time that you basically had to sit still. So, what's
yeah.
that like?
Just a heads up, I gotta run here in a minute, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a heads up.
All
But
right.
but I feel like the biggest difference was there's no, way less to like zero live shows, and was doing a lot more like digital content stuff and trying to figure that out. And then, but also just questioning my life every day. That was a big part of the pandemic. What am I doing?
Yeah.
When they said
That,
essential versus non-essential, made me
yeah.
question, like, is this even a job? Like what I'm doing right now? Does anyone need this?
You're not essential.
Yeah.
Like you're not. You're definitely not.
Dude, it
Essential.
felt like Hunger Games or something where they divide you into like, groups, or was it Divergent right away? And you
Yeah.
find out which group you're in. You're like, yeah, if you guys all died, the world would actually be better. Like you guys were this extra thing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of comics that had to question like during this whole pandemic if comedy is really for them. A lot of people didn't think so, and then a lot of people like found ways to, make it so. So that's
Yeah.
always a plus. But all right, so since we're about to get out of here, I only have these few questions to ask. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you could choose one comedy club and three comedians to have a show at, like this is your dream show. Like,
Yeah.
which comedy club would it be, and name the three comedians?
Okay. Oh shit, which comedy club? You know what? It probably wouldn't be at a club. I would do like have you seen those Don't Tell shows?
Yes.
Those are I always have a great time at those. So I would do one of the Don't Tell shows, preferably in Sacramento, my hometown. But really anywhere, they're always good. And I would do it with Dave Chappelle, Zach Galifianakis, and I'm gonna save the third spot for like one of my friend comics. So it's like I would say this is cheating. I'm gonna do three of my friend dudes, but it could be any of these guys. Either Diego Curiel, Kyrie Shabazz, or this guy Jeff Zenisek. I like working with those three a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's up. Okay, so and then we usually like to end the show with asking comics basically their personal opinions. Like we're gonna give you basically two comics, and you tell me which comic you would prefer.
Okay.
These are your preferences and stuff. So you don't have to really like think about it as in.
Whoa, this is
oh,
divisive.
world
What if I know these people? Then it's like
You probably do. You probably do
Okay.
because we've done our research. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're just gonna go through a few comics, and then basically you're just gonna give us your preference.
Okay.
Okay. So our first one would be Joe Coy or Dion Cole.
Oh, I gotta say Joe Coy. He's Filipino,
Yes.
and he's like kind of the godfather of everything. But I do love Dion Cole though, man. It's a tough one. But I like Dion Cole's style, like especially when he brings his notebook out.
Yeah.
But Joe Coy it's the true, things. He did empower me when I was like young. His Leno set, where he got a standing ovation at it. He was doing the salsa dancing, all that stuff. One of the sets I look back on, because I think it was on YouTube before like they even uploaded it to YouTube. Somebody like DVR'd it and put it on.
Yeah.
To this day, it's still one of like the sets that I look at like, oh shit, that guy's a crusher. Yeah, he's great. And I did a show. I did a thing with his mom actually in DC. Yeah.
That's an
Weird.
interesting segue. and I did the thing with his mom. Like, really,
Yeah, I mean his mom got a thing. No,
it wasn't personal.
Like I think he was too busy, so they booked me as the comic, and then but they still really wanted something to do with him, so they also booked his mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So they're like me plus his mom somehow equals Joe Coy.
Okay. All right. Our next one actually isn't comics. This is actually comedy clubs. So
Okay.
the Punchline San Francisco or the Comedy Store?
Oh shit, man, fuck. What for? What? Just as a club?
Yeah. Which one you would prefer?
Dude, this is gonna be the controversial opinion. I love Punchline, man. I love the Punchline, but the store is the legendary room. I got to give it its respect, all that stuff. But as far as like maybe like filming a special or it'd be Punchline. It is the ones where I have like a lot of fun, but that's because I think the store is it is harder. It's like more of the gym, it's the gym, and like and I'm not, I don't know that, but I do love doing sets at the Punchline. It's so fun.
Okay, yeah, and okay, two more. So
Okay,
we're gonna do. Okay, sorry, three more. Kevin
you're good.
Hart or Jerrod Carmichael?
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, I did Heart of the City. I gotta say Kevin Hart. But I know. But respect to Jerrod though.
Yeah. Okay. So Iliza Shlesinger or
Okay.
Margaret Cho?
Oh, what do you think I'm gonna say?
Probably Liza.
I do like Iliza Shlesinger. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Liza.
Okay. And last but okay, comedy Cellar or the Hollywood Improv?
Cellar. Yep.
I've never been to the Cellar. Always wanted to go there, so I'm planning. That's like a goal for me in 2021 to like actually go and like either perform at the Cellar or just see it and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, totally. The Cellar and the Store are sort of like the legendary, if you're a comic, places to go.
They're the holy grails. They're basically the Cellar is the Comedy Store of the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stuff. So, all right, last one, and I just need your honest opinion. JR De Guzman or Jamie Foxx?
Oh gosh, come on, man. You know what, Jamie Foxx. But one day though, I want to work to the day where I say JR De Guzman. That's how I want to get that good. Jamie Foxx is so legit.
You gotta say yourself. You gotta say
All right,
yourself.
I take it back. I take it back, JR De Guzman. But you know, that is what I said to when I got signed with my agent in that meeting. When they're asking you like, what are you looking for out of just this career? And I remember saying like, I want it to be something like Jamie Foxx, like where he does each thing, and that's what I wanted to do. So fuck it, man, JR De Guzman, baby.
Yeah, you gotta have that confidence. Always gotta build that confidence into yourself.
I appreciate that. I don't have it, so it is nice when you remind me to do it.
Yeah, well, because all the other comics I've asked that question, I've asked them versus another like notable comic. They've always said themselves, and I always knew like growing up in comedy, like I knew basically like you have to be confident.
You have to have that
yourself before anybody else. Like
but did you give them the option of Jamie Foxx? Because Jamie Foxx is a whole nother level.
Actually,
you did?
We gave him words. We gave him.
Yeah.
I've given somebody Kevin Hart and Richard Pryor.
Wow, and they pick themselves? See, those are selfish assholes, dude.
Sort of, but who cares?
No, you're right. You are right though. There is something to having that confidence. That's something I'm trying to work on, just selling myself.
That's why it's personal preference and stuff. But
yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for doing this for us, man. Like we truly appreciate it. Truly a fan of yours, and I can't wait to see you do more big things in 2021. Once again, this is JR De Guzman. You can find him on social media right now at JR De Guz, or if you are smarter than me, JR De Guz and stuff. So keep it going for him. Watch him on YouTube. He has great musical talents and comedic skills. My name's Tyson Paul. Thank you for watching We Only Laughs, and remember to laugh at life because it's actually pretty funny. All right, see you later, JR. Thanks, man. Thanks.